Hello, hello, friends. Welcome. I'm Heidi with Onigo Stamping, and welcome to my craft corner. I am so excited that you are joining me this evening because I'm going to make some fun masculine cards. So I always struggle with masculine cards, or what people label as masculine cards, because they always seem to be either nature or tools or cars, which are things that a lot of the guys in my life aren't necessarily all that into, right? So today I'm going to be using the For the Record stamp set to share some masculine cards that are something different. And actually, I think they would work for anyone. I like to really call them gender neutral cards. So if you are here and you are watching me live, go ahead and let me know that you're here. Leave me a comment. Let me know that you're watching and where you're at, what you're doing. I'm really excited that you could be here. Before I get started with my card demonstration tonight, I just want to remind you of a couple things. Don't forget that I have an awesome paper share coming up. If you want to get your hands on some of that pattern paper from the new catalog, get a 6x6 sample of all of the pattern papers from the catalog. You want to sign up for my paper share because along with that, you're also going to get invited to a special online sneak peek pajama party. I've teamed up with some other stampers and we're going to share some unique projects with you that evening on the 29th of April. So make sure you go ahead and sign up for my paper share and you'll get samples of all the papers. That's really the best part right there. Hi, Kathy. Welcome. So glad you are here. Please let me know if there are any sound issues, especially if you're hearing like an echo or something, so I can try to get those straightened out. Otherwise, Oni go. Let's get stamping. I'm going to go ahead and flip around my camera, see if I pick the right one. I never do. No, I never pick the right one. All right, here is the For the Record stamp set. Isn't that cute? It's just a big record, and it says For the Record, and then it says, I really like you, you're awesome, happy birthday, you're my favorite song. So just really fun stamp set for your favorite record collector or audiophile. I don't know. All right, where am I putting my case here? I'm going to go ahead and set that down. I'm going to remember what I am doing. All right, let's go ahead and start. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot what I was doing. So I'm going to start with my piece of Pool Party cardstock. And I forgot to go ahead and grab out this big long strip. Now this strip really requires a really big block. I don't have the right size block. No problem, because I'm not using the full strip. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab out the biggest block that I have. I got to move things around on my table. You guys, if you could see my table and what a mess it is. Oh my goodness. All right. So I just have a block here. And I'm just going to grab one side of this because that's all I need. I need to get one full side on there. And then this bit is going to stick out. I'm just not going to use that end. So, all right. So I have a piece of Pool Party cardstock. This cardstock is 5 inches by 3 3/4. And of course, later tonight, I'm going to be posting a blog post with all of the dimensions for this card, as well as pictures of the other card samples, because of course I do have other card samples to share with you as well. All right, so I'm going to grab my Bermuda Bay ink, and I am just going to start by stamping a pattern. I was playing with foil, the gold leafing, and it is everywhere. So I'm just going to start by stamping a random pattern on my cardstock here. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to stamp like 2 or 3 times each time before I re-ink. And I'm trying to get this straight without being directly over top of it, which is always a challenge, right? It's better when you can look directly. Oh, I missed a little bit. That's okay. So it's better when you can be, right over top of it to line things up. But it's okay that it is kind of, overlapping a little bit. It's not perfectly even. That's okay. So there is just a random background that I went ahead and stamped. And now I'm going to go ahead and just set that aside. I have a scrap piece of Pool Party as well. And I have already taken and I put my record in my Stamparatus. Now, I could just put this on a block. I do have a block big enough for the record, but I want to kind of, I want to make sure that this gets good and dark when I stamp it. Oh, I'm just stamping this. I'm going to cut this out. I was thinking I needed to line this up, but I really don't, which is good because I did a bad job putting my sticker on, and the sticker and the actual heart inside do not line up. So, oops. All right. I can't remember what I'm doing tonight. So I'm just going to put this up towards the top, make sure that my full record is going to fit on there. And I am going to go ahead and just pop one of the magnets down on here just to really kind of hold it in place, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp this multiple times, and I'll show you why. So I'm using some Tuxedo Black Memento ink. Hi, Kimberly, welcome. I'm using Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and I am just going to ink up my record player, and we're going to put this down and give it some good pressure. All right. But you can see, especially because I'm not using white, I'm using a colored cardstock here, you don't get a super, super good impression, which is what's nice about the Stamparatus, is I can now come in and I'm going to re-ink up my record again. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that again. We're going to give it some good pressure all over. And you know what? I'm going to do it a third time. Hi, Jennifer. Ooh, St. Paul, Minnesota. You guys having good weather? It has been windy today. I thought I was going to wind up in Oz here in Michigan. All right, so I'm just inking that up a third time, and I'm going to go ahead and stamp that one more time. And that is looking pretty good. There's my record. So that is Tuxedo Black Memento on Pool Party. I'm going to set this aside. Oh, I can. So, and I'm going to grab a scrap piece of basic white cardstock. Hopefully I get this in the right spot. Yeah. Again, this is just scrap, so it doesn't really matter if it's straight or whatever, but I'm just, trying to try not to put it right in the center of the page. 82 degrees and sunny in Virginia. That sounds nice. It was like 70 and sunny yesterday. Yesterday was gorgeous here. Today, windy. 50 and windy. All right, so I'm going to put this in here. And really, I just want the center of this. So that looks pretty good. You know what? I'm going to do it just one more time. I really just want that center heart because I'm going to cut that out. So we'll go ahead and stamp that again. And that is nice and dark. And I'm just going to set this aside and let it kind of dry. And I'm going to set aside my Stamparatus as well because we are all done playing with that. So I'm going to stick that back there. Now what I want to do is I'm going to grab my magnetic platform for my Big Shot, or you can use, of course, the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And I want to grab that Pool Party one that I stamped. I'm just going to put that on there. Now I am using the layering circle dies, and we're going to put this, we're going to find the one that fits. One of them fits like perfectly, and I always just have to, is it the biggest one? It is. The very biggest one fits like perfectly. I'm just pushing this to one side. My cutting plate is a little bit warped right now. So if you cut towards the edges and the ends and stuff, that's going to help keep your cutting plate from warping and keep it, or if it is a little bit warped, it will start to straighten it out a little bit. Mine got a little bit warped because I was cutting something big, and so I kept having to cut it right in the center. So now I've been, trying to unwarp my plate a little bit. So, all right. And move my other. I'm just going to run this through my Big Shot really quick. And here is my record. Oh, so cute. Yay. Now I'm going to grab that white one because I want to cut part of this out too. But this time, I just want to cut that inner circle because I decided I want the inside to be white. So I'm using the very smallest circle here. And it's not perfect. It's a little bit too big, but that is okay because you're not going to be able to tell. Oh my goodness, 37 degrees. Wow, that is cold. That is really, really cold and windy. You guys probably have the same wind that we have. All right. So let's see how we're doing. So here's that center circle. So I just cut that right out. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could just cut a white circle. Like if you just wanted, if you didn't want to have that heart on there especially, you could just cut a white circle. Obviously not there. And it might be a little bit big, but that would work. That would totally work. So here we go. I'm just trying to move everything out of the way. So now I have my record and I have this center circle, and I'm going to color this center circle with my Bermuda Bay Stampin' Blends. Now I did realize earlier today that my light Bermuda Bay, the end is getting a little bit worn out. I've had these for a little while, so I just got to be careful with it because it's just not as precise. So I'm just coloring that with the light Bermuda Bay. And then I'll come in with the black Bermuda Bay. Or black with the dark Bermuda Bay, and I'm just going to do around the outside just to give it a little bit of dimension, a little bit of shading. So just like that. And then of course I'm going to grab the light again, and I'm just going to go over that to kind of blend in towards the center. There we go. So there is my circle. And I'm going to take my multi-purpose glue, and I'm going to put this on the center of my record with my multi-purpose glue. And that's just going to go right in here. I just love the way that pops since it's white. And then I'm going to adhere my record to my card front, and I'm just want to see where I'm putting it. I'm going to put it about right here. Just like that. I probably could have put those down a little bit further, but that's okay. Sometimes when it's just me stamping, I redo things. So if this were just me, I might be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to restamp that background so that I get these positioned more exactly how I want them. But I'm not doing that here. All right, so we're just going to pop that on there. There's our record. Yay! And now we're going to make some sentiments for this. So I have a piece of Bermuda Bay cardstock, and I am actually going to emboss this. So I'm pulling out my Versamark ink pad, which is what I use for embossing. Now I do use my embossing buddy still. We don't sell these anymore, and they're not going to be in the new catalog either, which is just silly. But I have heard you can use like a dryer sheet or just like some cornstarch or something. I just still use my embossing buddy. Yeah, so I'm just going to stamp that. I'm just going to rub that over my cardstock, and that just gets rid of some of the oils and the static on your cardstock so that the embossing powder doesn't stick where you don't want it to. And I just want to take this, and I'm going to try to get it towards the bottom. Hopefully got it good. Let's see. And then I'm taking a piece of scrap paper. I'm going to set that underneath here. And I'm going to take my white embossing powder, and I'm just going to dump this over the top. So there we go. And then we'll just tap off some of this white powder. And if you get some strays, you can grab a paintbrush. God, you know, I'm losing my words tonight, y'all. Just kind of out of it. All right. Take your paintbrush and just kind of get some of those extra stray specks that might be there. Just take those right off. And then all this powder can just go right back in this tub. These tubs last so long just because you use so little on every one. All right, this is going to get loud for just a second while I heat this. But guys, I love watching embossing powder. So hopefully you can see this as I do this. This is just going to melt and turn shiny white. And you want to be careful not to zap your fingers or to overheat it. So, all right, so there you go. Just a nice sentiment. Is that straight? It's not quite straight. I'm gonna straighten it out. I'm gonna cut it off anyway. So I'm just gonna use my paper trimmer and see if I can straighten the bottom just a little bit. We'll see how I did. Hopefully I did well because I don't want to have to redo it. Oh my. All right. There we go. And then I'm just going to cut the ends. And then we will cut this down to size. Hopefully it's straight. Now I could just take my scissors and do this too. But yeah. All right. So that looks pretty good. There we go. There's our sentiment. And then my second sentiment I want to do is I'm going to grab a strip of white here. And I just have lots of strips here that I keep. I do keep scraps of white. I'm going to grab one that's a little bit thicker, a little bit wider, and there we go. Because I have different ones. I have a whole bin full. And then this, I just want to stamp this with that Memento ink again. So that's just that Tuxedo Memento ink. And I'm going to stamp it right on this white. Just like that. And we're going to cut this out. Now for this, I'm just using my paper snips to cut this out. So I just, line them up and try to get it straight. I put my fingers underneath, so I kind of hold my blade. I don't know if it makes much difference, but I feel like it helps me cut straighter. Gives me some stability to my scissors. Just gotta be careful not to cut your fingers because these things are sharp. All right, and I'm gonna cut all these words apart. So we're gonna cut right in between there. Now don't forget, you guys, this card is almost done, but I have a couple more samples. I'm not gonna step by step them for you, but I do have a couple more samples to share with you. So I'm just gonna cut those words right apart. And we're gonna come back here. You know what? I'm going to cut this bottom just a little bit closer just to even it up a little bit. There we go. And then these get cut apart too. All right. So there's our sentiment. And now now it's just a matter of putting everything together. So I have this piece, my background piece that I've already started. Move my ink pads out of the way. Now I have a piece of Bermuda Bay. This is 5 1/8. Got to think about this. 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. So really, usually when I am actually cutting things, I don't think about what the actual eighths is. What I do is I know that the pool party piece is 5 inches by 3 3/4. So I just put it at 5 inches and then I add an eighth to it, right? I don't count the eighths. I just move my paper. So, all right. So that just goes right on there. And then this, we're going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals here. And I'm going to put some Stampin', you know what? I actually want to start, I almost forgot about this. I want to start at the bottom. I'm going to start with my last word. And the reason that I do this is that I want it to be even down here in this bottom corner. So I'm going to start with the last word that goes down here in this bottom corner. That way I can just move up from there, and wherever it stops up here is going to be fine, but that way I know it's going to end in the right spot. So I'm just cutting a strip off from the edge of my mini Stampin' Dimensionals, and I'm going to use this on the back of my words. So just cut that one, and this is going to go on song. Hopefully I get the words in the right order. Sometimes you cut the words apart and then you're like, oh, I put those on in the wrong order. Oops. Maybe it's just me though. So I'm just going to take this, I'm going to put song right down here in the corner. And then we're going to do favorite. And again, cut off the length I need of that little strip. I'm just still using the same strip. And hopefully get that on there straight. Last one I kind of missed. It was not very straight. Ooh, that little bit was sticking to me. All right. My favorite is going to go right here. So I'm lining up that right edge and just trying to get them straight. And now we're going to do my. And oh, I'm going to have to cut that off just a little bit. Get my scissors in there. All right. It's some days, those little pieces, they just want to go flying and go every other way. You somehow manage to lose the little words. Well, yes, I do that too. But then, you know, it's like, well, I can always just cut another. I can always stamp another one and cut it back out again. So then we're going to do the your, and I got to cut another little strip here. Just going to make sure it's the right length. Now you can buy strips of the foam, which that works too. I just, you know, those edges on especially the minis, they seem to have like a big wide edge, and it just always works really well for just trimming off. So that's what I often use. Sometimes I will also just stack up extra strips of white underneath, and that will work too. So, all right, and then I'm adding the your right on top of that. Now I'm going to come in with the for the record. I'm going to put some regular size dimensionals on this one. Hopefully I don't go off the edge at all. My fingers are, I don't know, I keep getting things in the wrong spots. Yeah, it's sticking out just a little bit. All right, and then this is going to go right. So it's going to line up on that right side too. And it's just, oh, is that straight? Y'all, I can't see. When I'm not looking, you know, right upside down, right over top of something, it's hard to see if it's straight. So I don't know how well I did. There we go. Then I have a piece of basic white thick cardstock, and this is just 8.5 by 5.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4. So now I'm just going to take my bone folder and give it a good crease down the center. And then this I'm going to put on Stampin' Dimensionals as well. And then we're going to add just a little bit of embellishment to this. Now, embellishment, normally, you know, you're thinking bling, right? But this is more of a masculine card, or I would hope it's a little bit masculine, a little bit, you know, maybe less blingy, but I got the perfect thing for that too. So go ahead and take off the backs of my Stampin' Dimensionals. And this is just going to go right in the center of my white background. You know, sometimes I forget about this, but I've been kind of in a white background mode lately, and I cannot get this. I can't get it centered, y'all. All right, there we go. So there's that. Now I want to grab my matte black dots. Matte black dots, perfect. So I'm just going to grab these out, and I want to use 3 of these. And I'm looking at my sample, trying to think if I used the big ones or the little ones. Let's use this right here. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to pop 3 right up here. Just as like an extra little something. Because even guy cards have to have a little extra something. So there we go. For the record, you're my favorite song. Isn't that cute? I just think it's adorable. And like I said, you could easily mask out that, mask out the heart, or you could just cut a white circle there. And that way, you know, if you didn't want a heart on there, you could totally do that. All right, let's look at my couple other samples that I have as well. So this one was super simple, you guys. I just stamped, so this is still Pool Party and Bermuda Bay and Coastal Cabana. And I just stamped it in the different colors on the front there, and colored in the centers is the Pool Party with my Stampin' Blends, and then added the sentiment on the top and a little bit of ribbon. This is some designer series paper back there, so just really simple, easy. And on the inside it says, "You're awesome." So for the record, you're awesome. I just think it's fun. And then here is my last one, and this one again Pool Party and Coastal Cabana. And I stamped this in Coastal Cabana and I stamped it in black. And I used my Stamparatus for this as well. This says, for the record, happy birthday. And I embossed the back here with the Hive 3D embossing folder, which I just love. So there is those 3 cards using that awesome for the record stamp set, which I just think is so much fun. Yeah, for all sorts of occasions. So thank you. Thank you. Oh, Kimberly and Nikki and Kathy, I'm so glad that you like the card. Thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I hope that you enjoyed these cards. I hope you learned some tips and techniques. And I hope that you will come back and join me. Well, not next week. I almost forgot. Next week, I am canceling next week, y'all. My daughter's getting married in a week and a half. And so I'm actually going to be on the road next Thursday night. So I said, you know what? I'm not doing live. I'm not doing live from my car, right? So there is no live demonstration next week, but I'll be back the following Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time with another great card to share with y'all. Thank you so much and have a fabulous evening. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.